We're alive. But nah, so it's actually kind of weird because this is like one of the first times I've ever started a pod and I just wasn't like just talking in the background or had some setup going because, so it'll kind of just flow into it because you never want to just introduce a podcast with the hey, that's just gonna throw people off. But fuck it. Hey, 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 it's the big motherfucking baby. I'm back. And I'm back with two very important people, right? I got light skinned Chris and Haitian Josh here with me. and like just a little background, right? It's for one, it's crazy that it's taken me this long to get friends from college on the podcast, especially these people, because Chris is a person who's been listening. He's somebody who gives me feedback. He'll tell me if some shit is poo. He just talks to me. And Josh is of my friends from freshman year. I probably talk on the phone to Josh more than anyone else. Like me and Josh have hour-long phone conversations about nothing. But it's great talk. But the two of these guys were like two of my first friends at Morehouse, and I'm just so happy that y'all are here to come pod with me.
Good to be here.
Yeah, it's lit. We're happy to be here. It's gonna be a fun discussion.
It is, man. And for starters, it's graduation time. Let's get this out the way. Let's congratulate the graduates. It's unfortunate that you don't get to walk across the stage. But I'll tell you that walking across the stage is really overrated. That's for everybody else. The work that you put in and the product that comes out the end of this process is what truly happens. Because I remember when we graduated, we all was sitting outside in the fucking rain for 4 hours.
It definitely was raining.
My cap was so soggy. That thing was slumped down by the time I took my picture.
Yeah, them pictures look ugly afterwards.
Sad. We were some wet dogs.
Didn't take pictures.
You said you didn't get none?
I have like some that I took like back in the room, but like I didn't do the whole family picture thing. It was like, hey, I get it. It's raining hard as fuck. Like,
it's coming down
tomorrow.
Yeah, bro. I was sick because I had just bought a new suit, bro, and new shoes.
Mm-hmm. Clothes soggy as hell. Smelled like wet dog. Had to get them dry clean.
I never understood the point of buying a new suit for graduation because no one sees it.
Nobody tells you that until it's too late, though. Like it wasn't until we took like the graduation photos that I realized dudes were wearing like slides and t-shirts under their cap and gown.
Man, honestly, bro, you through college, bro, you wear the same dingy suits to all your interviews and internships, bro. That's like to me, that was like the moment you could pivot and finally maybe spend a little extra money on a nice suit.
My college experience was different. We're not really going to talk about, all of that as far as professionally goes. So, I ain't have to worry about that shit.
Yeah.
Even though Josh was a suit wearing political ass nigga.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do, man.
Bro, what the fuck was we doing with that one team, one voice, or one band, one sound shit?
You talking about that campaign?
Yeah. So I mean,
bro, AC, I have the picture on my phone. If you can use it, and I don't know how you could do it, but I have the photo.
Hey, Chris Broussard had a vision, and it looked good. Our stuff was way colder than everybody else's. Did we win? No, but it's all right. There was some personal politics that played in too much into that because we would have been a great
platform. Y'all was fired, bro.
Yeah.
Because you were Secretary of Treasurer?
Oh, Secretary.
Yeah. You ran for president, right?
President? VP because Stephen Green and Marv, they had the show off in the African American Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I remember your debate. Yeah, you bodied, bro.
That was a fun experience.
It's funny you talk about that because I was on a large fucking group call a couple of weeks ago with Hakeem.
Yeah.
And I told him, fuck him for leaving me out the homecoming parade because they didn't even tell me where to go or nothing. I'm in the, I was supposed to be on the float and all that shit. No, but I ain't know. They took a trip, I think, to like DC in the name of freshman class council. I didn't know.
Like recently?
No, like freshman year.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I was only privy to the meetings on schedule. Everything else that happened, had no idea. I guess because I smoked Black and Miles in public.
And you were sagging your pants too.
I didn't sag freshman year.
No, that was
Hey,
Marvin.
I remember when you had came into the dorm orientation, you had on them puka shells.
Come on, man. I know you're gonna bring that shit up, man.
He had a Tampa Bay
I just-
Rays
it's like
hat on
ingrained in
too.
my mind, bro.
Yeah.
Man, that's a phase of my life that I try to forget about. I was a young nigga trying to find myself.
I get it, bro.
I will say I credit you all a lot for the way I dress now, because my country ass coming out of Cartersville, you know, I knew a little bit, but I wasn't in the shoes.
Yeah, I mean, I was like on camp, like for real, camp is like really let you know where you stood, like with the fashion. Cause coming from wherever we came from, like we thought we was doing that shit, and then you get to campus, you seen the upperclassmen with the skinny suits and the Clark boots, and you like, oh shit.
Like, oh, I wouldn't
What
even
killed me with the high waters though. I could never get behind the high water suit.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you pay for a suit that's too small?
Yeah.
Your tailor's terrible.
Yeah, some of them niggas was very aggressive with their tailoring.
Oh my
Like,
god.
I won't fly, like you won't wear that in like an office, bro. Like with your whole socket showing, bro. Like,
Bro, I don't know. I feel like nowadays dudes really do be wearing these tiny suits. Like they're on that little B wave, like tiny suit, tiny pants everywhere they go. And I just like I don't get it. Like how did you get the job?
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, man. I was getting oh, shit, excuse me. I got some suits made when I was overseas, and like I got some made a certain way because they're social suits, right? Like I'm gonna go out and they're not gonna be worn for anything professional. But for like a professional, like for my professional suits, like I still want like my pants to like touch, you know, like right above the ankle-ish, you know what I'm saying? Maybe, you know, like I want to look professional. And even like with the fit, you know, you want a nice tailored fit, but at the same time, like what I would be comfortable wearing out as a tailored fit versus what I'm gonna wear to work. I think those are two different looks that you should be going for. And I think people confuse that shit.
Yeah. Agreed. I don't want to clock any of your outfits because they haven't made it to the gram, but that vest pants combo you rocked once upon a time was definitely a dope suit.
I appreciate that, man. I actually got to give a shout out to my nigga Chew. I got it from him. I saw him kill that shit a couple times. I was like, ooh, I kind of like this, but I'm not going to wear it around him. I'm going to wait till I leave, and then I'm going to, you know what I mean, freak him with it.
The boy.
I talked to Chad a couple months ago, and he was talking about how your suit was fire too, bro.
Oh.
Well, really, both of y'all your fits that weekend at Josh wedding.
Well, you know, I came that weekend to make a statement since I was showing up without a date. I was like, look, even if they don't like it, they got to see it.
Yeah. That boy, he showed up to the wedding looked like a handsome Squidward.
Fuck you. Dog, you say that, and it's crazy how we really all became friends over jokes.
Oh man, for real.
And you talk about jokes. Me and my niggas was talking in the group text either last night or this morning. I don't recall because I've been up since like 4:00. And this nigga was talking about how I'm terrible at first impressions. And I was like, you know what? That's funny because apparently I had a terrible first impression with Josh, and I don't even remember.
I hated you. I was like, man, this dude, who sent this guy from Tampa? They need to send him back. Like, I couldn't stand you. You came to the table talking shit, and then you're like, no, we homies. I said, no, you ain't, bro. I don't know you.
Bro, legit AC, you came to the table in the cab, and actually that shit is documented on Facebook, bro. Because we ended up bonding because you started flaming some dude that was getting food, had like some weird ass spider looking haircut. Then you tagged us all in the photo on Facebook.
I tagged buddy.
You didn't tag him, you tagged all of us. And like we bonded over you
I
flaming.
do remember this. He had the
Like it's really still there.
Yeah.
So that was a phase in my life where I was just like putting funny shit on social media. Like I should have stuck with that shit because apparently it's cool now.
I remember Fat Cam too on Snapchat. That was priceless, but not very appropriate in today's inclusive environment. But
I could think of 1,000 reasons why I would get canceled if they ever go look at my Twitter. 2010 to 2014, over with.
I'm glad that thing's deleted. I got an adult Twitter now.
Yeah, that was
my whole name on there.
I don't get on often. I tried to delete it one time, but I didn't remember my password, and then I didn't remember my email address password. I just never tried again.
Man, I still got it, bro. Just to go down memory lane, even though some of that stuff is cringeworthy when you go back and look.
But part of me enjoys that piece of it. It's like, look look where society was for one, and then look what my brain was thinking in society and what was okay to tell the world.
Yeah.
Like, bro, I'm drunk as fuck right now. What a hoes at?
I remember one time, bro, I was arguing with a shorty on Twitter. This was like 2011. And we was all in the dorm shit. Like, I forgot where we came back from, but AC had mentioned me, was like, hey, bro, go to sleep, bro. He was like, bro, you showing your ass right now. Go to sleep, bro. Which was very good advice.
Yeah, I lost some good friends because of talking too much on Twitter. And it wasn't even like I was talking poorly about people. People just like started feeling sensitive about what I was putting out. And I don't know, what's that like country saying? Like, you know, if you a hound dog a holler or whatever.
A hit dog a holler.
Yeah, there you go. I feel like that's totally what happened. Where it's just like I was throwing shots, you know, just kind of, you know, willy-nilly, and people were getting real sensitive about it. So
I just know I was a disgruntled person at that point in my life, and I think it kind of reflects to where I am today because I'm still disgruntled. I feel underappreciated, undervalued. Fuck all these niggas. I'm a hater, and I think that reflected in my tweets because, yeah, there's a lot of people who I didn't think were cool or funny, and them niggas got to be cool and funny, and they wasn't.
Agreed.
Did you ask your question about the ego thing?
I was working there because that was an interesting time. And like, I asked you, Chris, because you and I have had this conversation, and you and I have been a part of group text before group text were cool. Like, let's come up with this idea.
Yeah.
Where would niggas be today if we didn't have the egos we had back then?
Man, it's kind of hard to say because, I mean, I guess in the professional context, maybe some different opportunities, but I don't think we weren't opposed to like trying new things, or we weren't even antisocial, but I think we felt kind of jilted to a certain extent, just how we carried ourselves on campus, how we represented the school, and things we did in our respective. Oh shit, there's a lizard right here. What we did in our like respective capacities, but that never really got acknowledged the way that we felt it should have. But I don't think like it stunted our growth in it by any means. I mean, we're all doing well for ourselves.
So here's where I want to play with it, right? Because I don't think any of us are hurt individually. I think we all did well individually. We carved paths that work for us right now. But I think our inability as a crew to actually to be collaborative, because even like within our crew, niggas weren't collaborating. Niggas were like coming together with ideas, and like you running it through the ringer, everybody talking shit, they shitting on it, they giving you feedback, they helping you out, whatever. But it was always, no, this is my project. This ain't our project. We ain't working on this together. Thanks for your help. Yeah. But this is mine.
Yeah, that's true. And I don't know, because I mean, I guess we might have different perspectives on like why we weren't as collaborative. I mean, you know, Marvin and I worked very closely for like a year and a half doing like the sketch comedy thing. But I do remember, I mean, I can understand like Marvin's position, because I remember when he brought that first idea of Black Young Everything our freshman year, and Y'all slandered that nigga at the table.
You said y'all. You said y'all. I didn't have no joke for the fall semester of freshman year. I had to pick that up trial by fire.
So, but on the other hand of that, how Marv might have felt the way about that, and because of that, would have been like, "Fuck y'all niggas!" Like, I'm still gonna work and do what I got to do, which I always like respected about Marv. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, that could have been an opportunity for like productive feedback, constructive feedback that would have improved what his idea ultimately became, and then just would have reinforced it as a good idea, and perhaps would have kept it going. Because I think that's the biggest thing aside from the ego is like niggas just didn't keep at it. Like they, even through like the little bitty hardships, they just like ended it, including myself.
Yeah.
And had we not done that, it could have been some good things that came out of that.
Yeah, bro. I tell niggas all the time I'm mad at myself that I waited till I was 25 to buy a microphone. I didn't buy one when I was 18.
I absolutely. I think that so many things in life are that way though, and it's sad. Where it's like, if I would have known, or if I would have had the courage to just take that leap, you kind of put this ageism thing on all of your accomplishments, where it's like, well, I got to do the things in order, and like it's very iterative, or it's like waterfall, like it's got to get to that next stage. I don't think that's the way that it really works. Like, go ahead and jump off the porch at whatever age that you think is right, and make those moves, make those mistakes. And it's better to make it when you're young, because people want to hear, like, it's easier to understand 22-year-old makes a mistake, or 17, 19-year-old makes a mistake, than you 25, you 27 out here playing around with your money. You got a check coming in, you over here dicking around with it. Like, I feel like people don't respect that. There's no youth, there's no naivete that people are going to assume or kind of use that to inform their perspective on it. And I think that that's what's fucked up about it at this point. It's just like, dude, we need to encourage people that look like us, especially young black men, to take those leaps like way earlier. Like, go ahead and fuck off with it, make the mistake, because it's still gonna be a struggle when you get of age, and like it's not going the way you want it to.
Yeah, and I also say, just generationally, I don't know if I can say it like that, but I think we might have been one of the last classes where that area of being like an independent freelancer in whatever capacity wasn't as cemented as it is now, with how people are like really professionalizing and monetizing their Instagrams and their Twitters.
The culture switched, and we were at a terrible age for it to switch.
Bro, I couldn't agree anymore.
We spent a majority of our lives looking for this white collar job. Like, okay, I'm going to go to college 4 years. Okay. All three of us came in like, okay, I'm going to go to law school after undergrad. I took common law first semester freshman year, and I said, shit, y'all niggas going to law school. I ain't going to that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And then it just so much changes, and it's like, okay, I'm going to go this career route. Okay, Chris, you went to law school. Boom, I'm going to go this career route. Josh, I'm going to go this career route. Mark, I'm going to go this career route. Kimball, I'm a fucking preacher. I'm going to go this career route. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody went these different routes. And it's like, yeah, it's great. But then you think about, damn, we kind of did it our parents' way. Yeah. You go to school, you get your education, you get your job, then you try to find your wife, then you get your 30-year fixed mortgage, get your house, live life. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, life changed when we were probably like the end of college?
Yeah.
Like, when Vine came out, like the whole viral moment kind of started happening. When niggas was really living viral moments, but not recording it, not putting it out for it to get picked up and carried.
I don't think that we were smart enough, maybe not even smart enough, but I think that paradigm shift happened where, like, all of a sudden there was like this weird autonomous way to make money and exist in this weird gray area that wasn't respected, that wasn't revered, that hadn't shown any like profitability for a really long time. And all of a sudden, somewhere like post recession, shit changed. And it felt like we had invested into a system that had really become obsolete with that like cookie cutter mold shit that they were preaching for us, where like, you need to do it this way, and like like once you get through this gate, you can get to the next level, and then you get to the next level, you get you get all of the things that you need to slowly get to where you want to be, and that wasn't realistic. Like if we were to monetize what we were doing instead of, I think that we looked at club promoters like, yo, that's your whole thing, like that's your whole job, and that's what it felt like when you were out there, when you were an entrepreneur in Atlanta. Like you were freelance, you were hustling, hoping for the best, and then like occasionally asking somebody for their credit card number or like their Bank of America account to make something shake. And like all of a sudden it changed into something that could be monetized where like, there's really money to be made off of 1,000 views on Instagram or, or Snapchat or whatever. And then it became 100,000 or whatever.
But I think the flip side of it is, after say 2014, when we came out, our like collective realization that there weren't any rules to how you made it for yourself is that now, being in our late 20s, that we can rewrite the rules to our benefit. I mean, AC with the podcast, for example, and just continue to build that brand. And that's kind of one of the biggest kind of lessons I learned through undergrad and after I left was, one, realizing that there ain't no rules for none of this.
Yeah.
And two, if you have a vision for yourself, then just stay at it. Like just be perseverant with it and let the chips fall where they may. Like, because at the end of the day, like you can't fault the nigga for trying. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I think that's what we got caught up in college on that like on the creative side, was that we didn't want to try and fail and look away.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I give Marv the ultimate props for.
For sure.
In everything, when it came to fashion, creativity, hollering at women, like everything that he did, it didn't matter what the outside noise said. It didn't matter what the status quo was. My nigga was like, hey, nah, bro, I'm going to do this shit. Like, because I believe in me. And I say that one great thing about him, I believe in me, it was a great energy to put amongst a group of people, because it's like, he got the confidence and how do I put this shit right? The turn up shit, right?
Yeah.
Which I have bugged for a little while.
Which Chris said before he gets salty about this.
Oh, I don't.
No, I just want to make it clear because I remember how the moment went down, and Chris was the one that said it. So just
Chris said what?
For the record.
What did Chris say?
Turn up in the video that went.
I'm talking about the turn up thing, but honestly, bro, I wanted to be a comedy. I want to be a writer more than a.
So, Chris, that's what I'm getting to.
Yeah.
I'm getting to the whole. We all had different skill sets, and now that we're almost 30 and we know how, and we've worked professionally, we know how to take skill sets and build those around each other to make something work. But it's like, you wanted to write. I want to be somewhere in between writing and performing, but not like, I don't want to deal with people.
Yeah.
And then you had Marv, who's somebody who wanted to be.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn.
Wanted to be a mogul.
Yeah. And it's just like, damn, dumbass 20-year-olds couldn't put all this shit together and say, you're good at this, so you do that. You're good at that, you do that. You're good at that, you do that. Okay, so you work in your own vein. And I think it speaks just more to what I'm trying to make this conversation get to is, when you're young and you lack experience, it's just so much shit that you don't know. And you think you know some shit because you can read something and retain it. But it's like, damn, my people skills are just off. My managerial skills are just off because I've never had to manage people, manage egos, manage time.
Yeah. So can I speak to something that I think that really like has informed the way I've moved since? So my uncle told me this a few years ago, and it stuck with me since. It's like it's all about thinking about, like, especially with investments, but I think that this advice applies everywhere. It's like you need to be thinking about what is going to happen, what is an emerging market 5 to 10 years from now. And I think that we didn't have that foresight. We were so nearsighted and short-sighted that it was in the immediate. How were people going to perceive us? Could we monetize it immediately? Were we going to have to spend a little bit of money to make some money? Instead of like, what does social media look like in 5 to 10 years? And can we profit off of this if we come together or be solo, whatever it was? And I don't think that we had that mentality to say that like 5 years, 10 years from now, social media is going to be the thing that like really shows consumers where the dollars are going, or advertising, or all of those things that like we could have been influencers, or that we could have, I mean, like dudes like King Bach, or like that have really been in the game for 10 years and people don't even know what they did.
Nigga, look at Pops, a nigga who lives in the same fucking room as us, the same building as us. He's talked to Pops like.
Oh yeah.
He's like,
yeah.
Like that nigga lived on y'all's floor.
He's my roommate.
Yeah.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. That just made me think about the infamous fight that fucked up.
Yeah,
man, niggas did in my glasses, bro.
Yo, Chris came to the room with me and he had a look on his face like, bro, you gotta check my room out. I said,
hey, bro, I ain't gonna say no names, but when bro came out the room, said, I'm beating whoever ass is in room 204, and 204 is my room. I'm like, who he talking about?
Especially after he had dropped the dude first week of school in the cafeteria. You remember that? Yo, we can't.
Yeah, nah. Hey, y'all remember we wouldn't let that nigga play Madden with us in the room, though?
Oh, yeah. It was the best thing we ever did.
Hey, I get next. Hey, nah, bro. It's like 3 next after you.
Yeah, bro. And you knock people out for fun. Like, we not about to play.
Hey, bro, he slept that nigga over the grill, bro.
Right in front of the cafeteria workers. That's a work hazard, bro. Like, who paid for their pain and suffering? Like, who? Come on.
Yeah, I still say that.
I know we gonna keep memory lane throughout, but look, as black men America, how have y'all been coping with this quarantine? And I think both of you all three of us have had interesting quarantine experiences. I'm out here in California where you can't do nothing, but everybody wants to live. Josh, you were quarantined on an island.
I was.
And Chris, you was quarantined in Atlanta, and I don't really think that's a quarantine.
It's not.
Yeah, but that quarantine over for y'all. Y'all just dying now. It's like a Hunger Games out there.
Bro, they open everything back up like nothing is happening right now.
Who the hell needs to go to the salon? I don't care what your weave is sewing look like right now. Just cut it.
I ain't gonna lie, like most people, like when the quarantine stuff was first coming down, especially in Cali and New York, like nobody was really taking it serious. So I remember like that week when they were shutting down Cali and New York, bro, we was still out like going to shows and stuff. Like, I don't know what they talking about, but like, we still got these tickets.
Nah, bro, I was talking to Todd and like, I'm like, fam, what y'all niggas out here doing? I'm like, like, I can't do shit. I can go to the grocery store and go home. He like, yeah, nigga, we living.
Bro.
Yeah, I shut everything down though after that.
I feel like what was weird was I vividly remember like I had an active week leading up, and like March 15th, like roughly, I remember the 2 or 3 days before that I was going to like concerts and recitals and going to bars and like going out to eat, and then I came to work, and I think it's like whatever the Thursday of like March the 14th, maybe 13th or 14th was. And one of our like VP of equity comes in and it's like, yeah, I saw all the execs and the finance bros from all the other companies piling into lines of Ubers with their computer monitors. And that's when I knew that I needed to tell everybody not to come back to work. Because I work downtown in downtown Boston. I remember that moment vividly. Where like I got off the train and it was, I mean, you could see tumbleweed. There was nobody left. There was no. And this is probably the epicenter of everything in Boston. It's packed. There's people everywhere. I come off. I could have played football in the middle of the street in downtown Crossing of Boston. Went into work, and then our VP of equity is like, yeah, everybody's leaving. And I knew I wasn't going back to work at that point. And I don't know when I'll be going back to work, honestly.
Yeah, I'm in school. And I don't know when they're gonna let us come back on campus. Like they've been talking about opening up classrooms for small meetings and shit, but I don't see them allowing 30 plus people back in rooms anytime soon. I graduate in December. I feel like I may not go back on campus.
I mean, until they come down with, which may not happen, but ideally they come down with a uniform strategy. Until they come out with a uniform strategy for this, I'm treating it like it's quarantine until
And I think if you're in a position to do that, you should. But I don't think you can come up with a routine strategy for all or a uniform strategy because each place it affects differently. They've been wilding in Josh's home state, but ain't nobody dying from the shit. So it's like you can't tell these niggas to stay inside when ain't nothing happening to them.
So I totally believe that folks are dying, but because it's old people, they're not taking it seriously. They're not attributing it to coronavirus because because so much of our population, especially within South Florida, is an older demographic, and like we're talking 70, 80 plus. I think that they're not attributing those deaths. They're just like they were gonna die anyway. So like whether or not Corona, kind of catalyzed that moment or not, it's whatever. And we're gonna see what happens to the
SAT word you just said, Josh?
What's up?
Was the SAT word you just said?
Catalyze?
Hey, Chris, remember when Josh used to use big words for no reason all the time?
Man. Homeostasis? They ain't never let me forget this one, boy.
Nah, man. The TV fucked up my homeostasis.
Yeah, and it was always some dumb shit, too. I remember I was trying to, look up to look at the screen on Cam's bum-ass TV to play 2K and give him that work because Cam thought he was real. And I was handing out ass whoopings left and right.
Nah, but you and Chris though, y'all used to have y'all little practice sessions because y'all be in your room playing the game and wouldn't nobody know, so y'all could just play against each other back to back for 3 hours and watching the
That's the I try to get framed up every day. I said I need to practice.
Hey, that's the most 2K I'd ever played.
Bro.
Man, I have not played video games like that ever again in my life. Like I tell niggas all the time, I'm like, bro, I was so nice, like freshman year. And it carried on like through the other years because I still played. But like freshman year, I'm like, I'll never be that good at video games ever again.
Yo, does anybody play AC? You playing 2K? I know Chris don't play no video games.
Yeah, I still play 2K. I be in the park now.
Bro, this is the worst 2K in recent memory I've ever played since I started playing. Since the one with KG on the cover, 2K12 or 13, whatever. No, it was probably earlier than 2K8. Bro, this is the worst 2K I've ever played in my whole life.
So I'll tell you, and it really gets bad when you play in the park. So like they have this thing where if the offensive person is already making a move, your defense cannot stop it no matter what. If they initiate the move before you like reach or bump them, like nah, niggas still dunking on you.
Agreed.
And
I can't shoot for a lick in that game.
Bro, it's so hard to green, bro. I feel like it's made for little kids. But Chris's face is like everybody else's face. Like, bro, y'all niggas really about to go into 2K fucking deep dive.
Y'all finna go in deep on this shit. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck y'all talking about.
Where's 2K?
Chris, you were a casual video game player. Even when we were all playing heavy, you were still casual.
Which is crazy because I was really into video games like middle school and high school, but it just something shifted, and I just.
Chris, you were also like a better student than all of us in undergrad.
Chris put in way more time than anybody had patience to. Like, bro, we were there for the extracurriculars. Chris is like, I'm a full-time student. You can find me in the study room at Westmore this week, next week, and the week after.
Like,
then I'm going to East Atlanta.
The weekends you can get like Chris to like go out, like just like Chris be like, oh yeah, it's Friday, I'm done with class. I'm just gonna hang out on campus at 3:00 and just start getting drunk and just see what a day take me.
Hey, you know what? One of the funniest things in college, bro, was the random drinking partners you would have. I've been thinking about that for a minute.
Same.
Like you were linking up with niggas like you don't really know like that. You generally wouldn't fuck with like that, but because like we was on the same mission to get faded, like we was on the same page.
I miss we both missed Miss Maroon and White one year, hanging out with Amos. That boy had some poison vodka. Water. I fell asleep on the stoop. Well,
Oh yeah, bro. Matter of fact, that started playing 2K. Like we was bored playing 2K, and then Amos was like, "Hey, y'all ever mix vodka with water?"
And that's really a fucking drink too. Hey, let me get a vodka with water.
Bro, so we'll pull that story full circle is senior year, we went on spring break on the cruise ship. AC, I know you remember them vodka waters.
I don't remember much of that trip. I just remember by the time the trip was over, the last like 4 hours, it wasn't no talking in the car.
Bro, yeah, because I had to pay that expensive ass parking fee. That thing was $200, bro. We was gone for 7 days and like 25
when we came back from the trip and we had to divvy up the parking fee for that shit. Niggas was over that.
Yeah, bro. Niggas was just like over it.
Yeah.
I'm talking about them firefighters.
That was a fun trip. It was fun for like all the reasons that a spring break probably shouldn't be fun. Like it's not the wild titties and orgies and shit that everybody be talking about. It's just like it was just fun.
So I'm gonna start and end here. Shoulders McGee.
The Kappa nigga?
No. You remember this? This is Kenny's homie.
I remember the term. I'm just trying to bring it to where.
So remember, Kenny from Morehouse was on this trip. Kenny's friend.
Are we editing out specifics? Because this is the specific.
Yeah, bro. I'm not. This shit is streaming, nigga. Came on, edit. So we're gonna read that story where it's at.
I regret not getting any of them pictures.
Yeah.
I do regret that.
Which one of y'all niggas didn't want to buy the fucking drinking package so we couldn't get the drinking package?
Oh,
all of us, but it's very well. I'm pretty sure it was definitely me.
It was one of y'all who didn't want to get it. Like, nah, I ain't gonna drink that much. It's like, yes, you are. Like, you can't help it. Like, it ain't shit to do with it.
Yeah, I remember when they slid the drink bill under the door the last night.
Boy, y'all was so hurt. That was what hurt y'all. And then I remember both of y'all were mad at you. Like, yo, you were playing poker. And you still didn't spend as much as us. I said, yeah, dude. I know how to monitor my finances.
Shit, damn, Josh, you went on 2 trips that year because you went down to Savannah with me.
Yeah, boy, that was a fun trip until we got there.
Oh, you're talking about Orange Crush?
Bro,
we went to what was it, Orange Crush?
Yeah.
And it was the year that Orange Crush was dead. Then it was raining.
They lost the permit, so it was unofficial that year.
Yeah, but we'd already made the plans to go, so we were like, fuck it. We saw a nigga get shot like the first 30 minutes in Savannah. We ain't even made it to Savannah State. Like, we trying to park to go to Savannah State campus, and we see a nigga on top of a fucking Escalade shooting down into the fucking moonroof.
Bro, we thought it was fireworks. So luckily, we're about to pull into this place. It's called like prime time or overtime, something like that.
Second half, no, fourth quarter, the OT,
overtime. Yeah. So we're pulling up to OT. We just get to Savannah. We're across the street from Savannah State, and I'll never forget this. And we're like, oh, they're doing fireworks for Orange Crush. Man, next thing you know, we see a bunch of people running in the parking lot. We're like, oh, these aren't fireworks. So we see the dude shooting through the sunroof. We're a little traumatized by what happened. We go to the hotel, check in. We're watching the local news. They're like, oh, someone was shot at OT. Everything's going to be fine. You know, like non-life-threatening injuries. So we all kick it. We go to the hot tub. Next day, we watch the local news. I don't know why we watching that much local news on a vacation. But anyway, we watch the local news. Bro died. I was like, bro, what happened to the non-life-threatening injuries?
Yeah, bro. That shit was... I was like, bro, never again. I'm done with Savannah. If I'm in Savannah, I'm downtown. I'm with the white folks. I ain't over here on campus.
Yeah.
Or camp, as they call it.
Mm-hmm. All right. So what are we doing for the quarantine? What have folks been up to?
I ain't been doing shit.
For me, I've been honestly, bro. One of the best things has been I haven't consumed music like this since college, so I've been able to take in a lot more music. And other than that, probably just exercising, honestly. Oh, and writing. Yeah.
So you talk about the music, and I cannot consume music the way I used to anymore. Like I just can't do it anymore. I don't want to do it anymore, right? What you been listening to?
What have I listened to recently? It kind of like it differentiates, but obviously the new Future album that came out yesterday or on Friday. The Knowledge beat tape was super hard.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
There's a couple more joints. I can't. Oh, Larry Jones, dude out of Detroit named Helios Hussein. He's pretty dope. And hey, that 42 Doug with Baby is hard too though.
I haven't heard that.
I like him. The nigga from Detroit, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I like him. Like
I don't know what he be saying, but I rock with that song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been going old school music all day, man. I've been George Benson. Can't go wrong with that. I tried some Sammy Davis. It wasn't really happening.
Really?
You said like Sammy Davis Jr.?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like, I tried. I bumped a few tracks, but it was a little bit too like what do they call those like big bands for me?
Oh,
it felt like show music in Vegas.
Like Count Basie and all of them.
Yeah. I really like that tape that you put me on, Chris. That Rick Wilson and Terrace Martin.
Yeah.
The EP Rise. I've been going back though. I've been as much as possible, like listening to old, especially like 90s and 2000s R&B. That's been kind of like getting me peaceful.
Yeah, I'll add them. I've been going back to. I just played it this morning. When I get home, Solange. Yeah. Obviously, Josh, you be on that Chasing Summer, the Sir album.
Yeah, that's a flame.
Then of course D'Angelo, like that is like constant rotation.
Of the music that I've gone back to a lot of rugged 90s hip hop.
Yeah, me too.
I've just been hearing a lot of these different old niggas just talk about how hip hop was so much different back then. And just like with sports, I don't feel totally comfortable speaking definitively on cultural things that happened that I didn't experience. Because, like, I can't tell you how dope Wu-Tang was because I didn't hear Wu-Tang, like, when Wu-Tang was rocking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can tell you how much I like it or don't like it, but I can't tell you how dope they were because I was not living life during their time, right?
Right.
But, like, I've been going back listening to some of that shit. Like, I've done some G-Unit fucking Dark Holes, and I said, damn, there's just a lot of music that I don't listen to as often as I should.
Yeah, I mean, really, as adults, bro, like, how much time do you really have to be able to dive into all that, including everything that happened before you was even born, when you were just a kid? Like, it's virtually. You said what?
I don't have time for that. I'm listening to at least 5 to 6 hours of podcast every fucking.
I mean, I tried to. Like, I was listening to Mace Harlem World last week.
That's on my list that I just hadn't got to. It's on the list to listen to.
Yeah, but I kind of been in that same little 90s pocket, but because there's so much dope music today that reflects that, especially from like the Griselda guys and Rock Marciano, a couple people like that, like it puts me in that mindset of listening to their music and then all the stuff that came out in the 90s too.
I agree, man. I've listened to a lot. I'm not gonna say I've listened to a lot of Griselda, but I was listening to a lot of Benny the other day. I listened to Westside Gun dropped the album about a month or so ago.
Yeah.
I gave that shit I gave a couple tracks some spins. I'm like, I don't want to listen to this shit right now, but there is a time and place for this music, and I like what the energy is. I like it.
Yeah.
Niggas just like rap.
Yeah. I can't forget. I got it. Money Man. Money Man is one of my favorite rappers for the last 2 years. So
my niggas love him. They've been talking. They talk him up, but I'm like, I can't listen to all this young nigga shit.
Man. Maybe it's because I'm in it. You gotta be here, but it's the Money Man.
I won't really fully embrace the Atlanta rap scene until I get back in the area because if you're in the city, it don't sound the same.
Yeah. You kind of gotta be in it to really appreciate it. So that makes sense.
Because for one, you need some nigga around you who know every word to the song, and you don't know that shit to be in your ear saying that shit hard, and you'd be like,
What have y'all been reading lately?
Fuck you talking about?
I don't read, bro. What you mean?
Yeah, I'm lying. Let me see. I got my books right here for y'all. So here's one book I've been in and out of. It's called Kairos by Jay Regine. It's actually a young lady I know. She graduated from Spelman. I've read. I pick and choose. Get in here, read a couple. It's a poetry book, right? Poems. You remember Marv was gonna write a book of poems. Sorry, I had to say that. No, it's actually pretty dope, and I've been reading this a little bit. I don't read poems every day. I know what kind of nigga I am. And Game Change, right here, Josh. I don't know if you've read it, but this is right up your alley, political nigga.
Well, what's the synopsis on it?
Game Change: Obama and the Clintons, McCain and Palin, and the race of a lifetime. So pretty much, it talks about 08, and it explains why Hillary Clinton didn't win in 16 or 08. It explains how the Obama ascension happened, and pretty much saying like if he hadn't ran in 08, he would have never been president.
Agreed. I mean, I think that we finally saw a grassroots movement win. And that was the first time since like some labor march shit, some shit like Chavez, some, like it's been a minute. It's 40, 50 years at least.
And the thing about that book is it really gets into like his psyche behind like making the decision, like understanding like it's early. Michelle's probably not gonna fuck with this, but if I don't do it today, I can't do it tomorrow. Yeah. I enjoyed it, and it makes a lot of stuff make a lot of sense, if that makes any sense.
That's fair. So I don't have my books with me, but I'm always reading Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. What else am I reading? Reading a book. Of course, I can't remember what it is. My brother-in-law loaned it to me, and it's about like rap and punk rock, and he goes through all of these different like eras in his life. He's an artist. He's a writer from Columbus, Ohio, and he profiles a lot of different types of music.
I know what you're talking about.
Hanif Abdurraqib.
Yeah.
Hanif Abdurrahim.
Hanif Abdurraqib, not the dude that used to shoot 3-pointers for the Hawks with the most famous jersey until Trae Young, but
hey, bro, watch your mouth.
Hey,
disrespect.
It's been a big gap. But y'all ain't even do right by the man, so it is what it is. Y'all should have signed Luol Deng, but we'll leave that there.
Leave Danny Ferry alone, man.
Hey, I don't care what him or Charles Barkley bum-ass got to say about it.
We can talk about Chuck later, but Chris, what you read? I figure nigga like you went to law school. All you do is read. Chris the Lawyer.
Yeah, so that whole experience kind of turned me off the reading. So, aside from legal briefs, I mean, I read the Michael Eric Dyson Jay-Z book last like 2 months ago, I think, which was cool. Really more so just studying how people write about hip hop, since that's one of my interest areas. But aside from that,
your passion project becomes your life.
You said what?
I can't wait until your passion project becomes your life.
Oh yeah, I mean they in the works. It's actually cool. I've been connecting with some artists. That's one of the dope things, because like the same thing I'm doing now, like I was doing back in 2010, but like the Twitter wasn't the same back then. So the way I'm able to connect digitally is like hella dope. But yeah, aside from that, maybe like various articles across couple different publications from New Yorker to like DJ Booth.
That's where I find myself. I read articles.
And I read music. I read music reviews, specifically Pitchfork, especially when they slander Drake. So that's been.
I couldn't get Chris to read no Pitchfork when I was like, bro, Pitchfork lets me know how to feel about the culture, not because they speak, but because I usually go against them when they speak on rap.
Same. I love the writing. For the most part, granted they do be wrong a lot of the time, but they always be right on Drake when it's slander. So
they slander Drake. Pitchfork. I mean, I like anybody who will accurately depict Drake, because I don't think he oftentimes is depicted the way that he should be depicted.
Yeah.
I think
this project. Did y'all listen to that?
I didn't finish it.
I made it like 5 tracks in, and the last track that I listened to was the one where he just like word for word repeated Eminem's bars.
Or I just heard that yesterday. I was like, nah, that ain't.
When I cut the track, I said, wait, I know this one already.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work to pervert an Eminem song, but he definitely did it.
Yeah, like,
can I give my honest thoughts on Drake? Because I don't think I've ever given my honest thoughts on Drake anywhere before. I mean, I haven't privately, but not on here. Fuck Drake for one.
I see that going that way.
I think he's overrated as a rapper because he's a good song maker who raps well at times. I think he knows how to manipulate the algorithms better than anyone else. I just don't think he's a cool guy.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it boils down to me with becoming a fan of people. It's like, do I think you're a cool guy? Are you somebody I would like to hang out with? Nothing about Drake says you're someone I want to hang out with.
I feel like the thing with Drake is like, I don't know if we've ever put him in the right box. I do think originally he was a rapper, but what we really witnessed is like Canadian pop took over American airwaves. And I want this to be recorded because I have felt this way for a bit. But like between him, Bieber, and The Weeknd, Canadian pop is taking over our airwaves, regardless of what it sounds like or what they're saying or how explicit the content is. And, it's not to say that any of those dudes are whack. It's just different. And we got to adjust to what is going on. Like this is like music globalization or whatever. As far as Drake goes, though, I do think that like he's 2 for 2 with 2 straight whack albums. That boy got a lot of garbage out, a lot of album fillers. This album seems to be a little bit better than it had been before to me, but he's gotten away with a lot of trash and cultural appropriation until up until this point. His career was better before, but I think the last 2 albums have tanked him.
I think that Drake, because he doesn't make bad songs, he does not get properly criticized for not making classic albums.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, like he makes too many great songs. He's too big to not have a classic album. And if y'all want to say Take Care, okay, but if you're not saying Take Care, he doesn't have a classic album.
I think people mail it in when they say Take Care is a classic album. But for me, I think it's even simpler.
I agree with Chris, by the way.
Yeah. The nigga don't stand up.
I just won't argue Take Care. I'm like, if you want to say Take Care,
I'm gonna say Nothing Was the Same.
I agree.
Yeah, but that's just my personal opinion.
That's Head in the Clouds, right?
Yeah, that's the one.
I hated that shit.
But that
one was dope. It had a vibe.
Yeah, but after Nothing Was the Same. I mean, really, the entirety of his career, if you want to keep it a buck. At the time, we were just like 18, so we thought this was like God sent music. But being 28, bro, the man don't stand on nothing that I want to be behind. And he don't gotta be on no social conscious stuff, but it don't be no principles of music, bro. He just be complaining about fame, money, and women, bro. Like
we deserve better from our artists. Yeah. He gotta stand for something. You can't keep getting my streams and you ain't talking about a goddamn thing. I don't care. You've been sleeping with any type of woman, strippers included, since 2010. That's cool. 2008, really. But that's over with. Like, you got to do something to earn my dollar. And so for all of these rappers that ain't rapping about nothing, I expect something out of you.
Yeah, and I mean, it's fine if it goes up at a party, but honestly, it's a lot of good music that still sounds just as good, if not better, that I could listen to even at the function. So like, I'm straight.
So can I kind of maybe change the conversation, but in the same vein? So as someone that likes to play music for people, I do think that the culture has shifted in a way that I hate, and it makes me feel old and ornery. But people only want to hear something that they can say the words to, especially the easier the lyrics are, instead of music that's actually good. It used to be like you wanted to go out, or you wanted to go to a club or someone's house and hear some music you hadn't heard before. It's a dope vibe. You know, they gave you some feels or some emotion that was emotion evoking. And I feel like that era is done in rap and hip hop for those types of fans where I don't want to just single out women, but I think that like across the board, people come to your house and request stuff instead of like, oh, your music in general is trash, or like, this is dope, I'm feeling the vibe. No, I need to hear words that I can sing along to matter more than anything else.
Well, here, I'll give you something. One thing I think that, Chris, don't take this the wrong way. The emergence of Atlanta as pop culture, right? I don't give a fuck what nobody says. Hip hop culture runs through Atlanta. Fuck everybody. But with that, a lot of shit that comes out of Atlanta is shit that only motherfuckers from the area understand.
Agreed.
Like there is a language that is spoken in Atlanta that you would have to live in Atlanta or live in the South at least to understand. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of that Thug and Future shit, a lot of niggas, they like the vibe, but they don't actually understand what the fuck them niggas are saying, which confuses me. I'm like, this is simple English. I can decipher this very easily. It's not hard to understand what these niggas are saying. A lot of times it's not even words, it's sound effects. You should just know they're sound effects. But I think that's kind of that's one of the things that's come with Atlanta becoming the center of what hip hop culture is. It's like, it's dope music, but it's not necessarily dope lyrics. And people like the musical side of it, the vibe it gets. I don't know. Maybe.
I think the counterpoint to that is, well, one, if folks outside of Atlanta want something that doesn't sound like Atlanta, then make it. It's kind of like the Jay-Z line, okay, make another one. But niggas can't because Atlanta is the wave. But secondarily, Atlanta music expands, like it spans a bunch of different areas. Now, the niggas that are most popular, it's a specific strand of music, that being trap, obviously. But it's a bunch of spitters coming out the city from Jig, Kenny Mason, and Grip. Like all of them boys can spit. And I put them up against any of them new boys coming from anywhere. But here's
another thing, Chris. Here's something that we don't talk about. Future can rap.
Oh, bro, hold on. Future can rap, Gunna can rap. All of them dudes can rap. Now, it may not be in that traditional sense, but bro, if you can put words together in them different types of cadences and get your point across and everybody fuck with it, nigga, you can rap.
I think maybe makes words rhyme too much. Like it feels like listening to some new age Lupe. But I do think Gunna's on it. I think that Future's got the talent, but I don't think a lot of those dudes are actually doing it actively. Like they're not really seeking out people that are interested in lyricism.
Well, no, because that doesn't make money. And Josh, if you Future, you laid up with Lori Harvey right now.
Josh, to your point though, bro, that's why I could never be a DJ. Cause I can read the room and understand like what's not gonna play and what will play, but at the same time I'm selfish about what I want to listen to, and that's just what it comes down to, bro. Like not everybody like is gonna take the same approach to how they listen to and appreciate music.
So what's funny is like I remember those moments when we used to DJ the like Good Karma parties, and like I could eat when the right people were there, but then once the sack chasers and the folks that were only there to be seen came in, and it was a later crowd. Like you and I, we could play the music that we wanted to hear, and everybody would have a good vibe until like midnight, and then at 12:30, that's when you ain't got no insert some bum ass rapper that they met at Lennox Mall one day in your Serato comes up, and I feel like that's the problem with music nowadays. It's like sometimes. It's dope to know the lyrics. I do love that, but I don't need to know every lyric to every song that I hear in the club. And if I do, that's a problem. Like there's too much music out here for me to be like, I need you to play like 75% of the songs on my hit list that are in my rotation for the next 6 weeks. Like that feels like the radio. And I feel like we used to go to the club to not hear the radio.
But I think that goes back to like some people like you and I, AC included, to a certain extent, we need to hear new music and what's the new thing, like what's happening next, and that requires you to go into the situation being humble, not knowing what the fuck it is, but appreciating whatever it becomes, versus like coming into something that's already been pre-selected for you. You can just spoon feed it to them with the top 20 songs that been getting played on all the streaming services. That's number one on all the playlists, and it's on the radio. So it really comes down to that at the end of the day.
Hey, Chris.
Oh, go ahead.
Or both of y'all. How good does it feel when you're at an adult function, right? Or somebody's at your crib and you just got your music playing. And I know for me, when I play music, if I got the speaker, I don't give a fuck what y'all want to hear. I'm playing what I want to like. What I want to like, what I like. So like, if I'm around, I don't play music around large groups of women. I'm like, y'all don't listen to what I want to listen to. But when you just like have your shit on fucking shuffle and something play, and it's one of them songs that ain't nobody thought about in 7 years, and niggas be like, oh shit, nigga. And y'all just sitting there rapping the song. It's like, you know what? This feels so much better than if I actually had a Fires playlist that got the functions going, because give a fuck with these hoes like let's be real. A lot of shit that women are not a great barometer of funny and good music. They're a great barometer of what is pop culturally, what is socially acceptable, what will sell, like what is Drake. But when
I disagree, bro. I disagree.
But when you get into like the art of like what's really funny and like good music, most women aren't looking for that.
I mean, I can't speak to comedy, but whenever like if I'm like helping somebody like who's doing new music, I'm like, bro, don't play that for me, bro. Play that for some women and see how like they feel the song. And if they don't feel the song, that's at least a starting point for the barometer. That don't mean that's the end all be all, but it gives you an idea of whether or not it knocks or not.
What are you trying to do with the song? Are you trying to craft a song in a way to exhibit your skills? It's more so on the rap side, or are you crafting a song to get people's attention? There's a difference.
So it depends on the artistic intention behind whatever you're trying to do, and then two, who's that supposed to be catered towards? Because then we also can't group women in as a monolith, because it's some chicks on the east side that want to hear some WAP versus like some dude from the Bay. You get what I mean? So it really depends on like who you trying to craft the songs towards.
Can I not make general statements that are pretty ignorant and just get away with it?
No,
do your thing. Do you think I'm just wanting that one little point?
No, Josh, you said no, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's appropriate. I don't hate you for it, but I don't think in this day and age, like women will hear that and be like, well, he's not speaking to me. Because I think that the problem with our generation, or like maybe even this next generation or 2 generations behind us, that are like slowly becoming young professionals, if they can't see themselves in everything that you're saying something that's exclusive. And like,
that's why I hate them. That's why I'm like, fuck them. Like, look, the world don't revolve around you. I'm not always going to speak to you. And sometimes I'm going to say things about you and your personality type that you're not going to like. And guess what? That's fucking life.
So can I be honest with you? I think that people are just learning what it's like to be black. Like, everything doesn't speak to all of my needs at every point. And they haven't included me, and they haven't included my perspective, and woe is me, and all, like, whoop-de-fucking-do. We've been going through this shit for forever. Like, when people talk about America, they're not talking about Black America. They've never included these people into this conversation. And I think that other groups, they feel like they identify with a certain demographic, whether you're a furry to a freak to a finance bro to a fashionista. Like, I think that this shit everything is not going to speak to you. And if you get salty about that, you can't survive in 2020. You don't deserve to survive in 2020. And maybe some Darwinism should happen to you.
The wildest thing I've seen in my life, for one, I've witnessed some of it firsthand here in Monterey where I'm at, and I've seen pictures on social media, is white people protesting for other motherfuckers to go back to work so that they can get what they want out of life, right? And it's this term I coined last weekend called white audacity, right? And it goes beyond white privilege, because I think white privilege is a thing that exists. There's also black privilege, because guess what? When 1, 2, or 3 of us walk in the door in damn near any room, if we're the only black person, we get to define what's cool, what's entertaining, and we're assumed to be the best athlete in the room. It's a thing, you know what I'm saying? Even if you're not, it's assumed. And there are places where that privilege can help you out. But anyways, I'm not trying to fucking hedge my bets here. White privilege, or white audacity, if it goes beyond white privilege, it is you using your white privilege and just saying, fuck it, I know I'm white, I can do this motherfucking shit, and it doesn't matter because I'm okay. It's really taking the word audacity, if you look at the actual definition of it, and it's just being audaciously white, if I said that right.
You said it right.
Is this thought process off?
Well, I
agree.
Yeah, but I don't even think it's a conscious decision. I think that's just what their reality looks like. They're not used to having. Yeah, they don't think. I mean, and they're like as they exist, they're not used to having any sort of restrictions placed on them by anybody. So when restrictions are placed on them, it's almost like synonymous with being oppressed. It's a sort of oppression for them because they haven't experienced that in any real form.
Man, if I had like a large gathering and the fact that you're saying that white people are being oppressed right now, social media would go crazy.
And I think that the problem is that it's true. It's just that it's not palatable for folks to hear, like so much so where it's like, no, yes, they feel oppressed because they can't be their 100% authentic selves all the time. And it's like, well, that's being white.
Hey, look, Josh. Josh, you froze on us, so try to restart your point so we can get the full piece.
I think
he's still frozen.
Yeah, he froze. It might kick him out. But yeah, Josh is frozen. He was making a point, and it's crazy that it is a form of oppression that we don't really even understand and recognize as oppression. Okay, Josh, you're back now. What were you saying?
Yeah, I think that it's problematic because so I agree with Chris, and I think that the problem is that they're not used to not being able to be their 100% authentic selves, and I think that can feel oppressive for white folks. I also think that in certain communities, especially communities that are predominantly white and historically white, it comes in different forms though, where it's not even like we're assumed to be the best athlete. Like I think that I come. In being in New England for the last year or two, it's like, well, you use your skill set in a different way. You guys are playing some different sports or whatever. Like, well, I was a D1 lacrosse athlete. For them, is very like they'll treat that shit as like it's like, bro, I played in the SEC against Alabama every other week, and
athletes don't play lacrosse in America.
And I think that some people in the Northeast wouldn't believe that. They're like, well. You just don't understand. You don't have that perspective, and I think that
the best athletes in the world, they play football in the SEC. And a lot of them, they live in Tuscaloosa for 3 years.
Agree. I mean, shoot. So I got to shout out my Dolphins, who picked up maybe the most injury-prone quarterback. That's the greatest quarterback in the history of college football. But I mean, two of them from Hawaii to goddamn Tuscaloosa, and I feel bad for their family. But Miami ain't gonna be so bad as a few years later. And his brother left Tuscaloosa, and I understand why. And so I'm happy to welcome him to South Florida when he transfers to UM or wherever he ends up going. But I do think that like the culture has changed or not even the culture has changed. People believe that we have shifted as a culture in a way that like we can say that things are equitable when they're actually not. And I think that this desire for equity amongst white people has become very detrimental to the aspects of blackness that are so important in today's day and age. Like we're not on even playing fields. It's never been, and it won't be until everybody's mixed race, unfortunately. And even then, it won't be that.
Man, look, I said that shit last week, and people looked at me crazy. And I said we gotta fuck racism away. People are like, huh? Yeah. I'm like, no. You really have to. And the joke was everybody got to be the card. You got to make the world the Kardashian color, right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, we ain't going Kardashian, bro. That shit's fucked up.
Chris, Josh, the Kardashian color.
Oh, even still, they just Armenian. Which we talking about the next generation of Kardashians? Which one?
What I'm talking about is a color that is.
You mean that like that gold beige.
That gold beige, your hair isn't coarse like mine, but it's not fucking straight like your average white person. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that's what somewhere in between there where you still got some curves. You know what I'm saying? You still got certain features, but we're never gonna get there because it's the motherfuckers who won't put they private parts in another person who looks different from them. They're like, oh, I can't hit that. See, it's not my color. Are you crazy? It's good pussy in all different colors.
I don't even know how that started.
Shit, man, I don't even need. I just be talking.
I mean, so I'm with you. I do think that like racial ambiguity is going to change the world. Just because like it'll be harder, but I do think that there's going to be some pale folks out there that are still salty.
Always, and I think that will always exist because I've seen in different cultures outside of just black and white cultures where people who have a certain color within that color scheme that's allowed to those people. That sounds terrible. They get treated differently. Like I've seen lighter Hispanics get treated differently from darker Hispanics. I've seen lighter Asians, like Chinese, Japanese. They don't treat Pacific Islanders the same as they treat each other. They don't even like each other. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. A lot of times we try to boil racism down to a black and white thing, and it's not black and white. It's just black and white is just the worst way that it ever happened. And we black, so I actually care about what happens to black people because I don't want fucked up shit to happen to people like me who look like me because I got friends. Most of my friends are black. My family's black. My kids, despite what their mama is, are going to be black.
Yeah.
Hey, so Chris, I got something for you, right? Total fucking shift. And I don't want to talk about Tekashi 6ix9ine specifically, right? Because his platform is large enough. He's doing fine. So I don't feel bad about talking about him and bigging him up because he's going to get bigged up by people bigger than me. But I don't want to talk about him specifically. But the whole snitching piece, right, or cooperation with the authorities. You know, niggas act like that's the worst thing you can ever do in life is talk to the law. And I get people having issues with the law because we don't trust the system because time and time again it showed us that the system doesn't work best for us. But my issue is niggas want to use not snitching as like you can do a bunch of snake ass shit, not snitching and you solid. Or you can do a bunch of solid ass shit, snitch, but you telling on somebody for what they did, and you helped yourself out, and you're seen as a terrible person, not a solid person. As our legal correspondent here, yeah, you just became legal correspondent. You got the certifications to where it works now. But like, where do you fall with that, with the whole snitching culture in like the black community?
Oh shit! It sounds like the camera on 60 Minutes interview.
It totally is, boy. Even if my neighbor was murdered, I wouldn't snitch.
I mean, are you talking about snitching like philosophically, or snitching like as it relates to like doing street shit?
Let's start philosophically, and then let's move into street shit.
I mean, philosophically, I mean, we all been kind of taught that since we was young, like don't be tattletelling and doing stuff like that. But it's ultimately it's a paradox, bro. Because on one hand, like we're supposed to be like adherent to this, like whatever the moral code is, whatever, if that's the law, if that's the Bible, whatever it is that you need to be your your rules for adhering to some sort of like sense of decency. But on the other hand, there's this understanding between people that to represent some sort of loyalty, you gotta like keep certain things under wraps, and that's it's supposed to be some sort of loyalty. But to me, snitching is bullshit. Like I really don't. If you agree to do something with somebody, and then you flip on them, this shit. Hold on, bro. This shit is stupid.
I think agreeing to do something and flipping on somebody is one thing, right?
Yeah.
But also getting caught up in a situation where your livelihood can be affected by something that you're not doing.
I just feel like at the same time, like on one hand, like yeah, you there's a betrayal there, but on the other hand, you also assume the risk of being outed.
Hey, look here. I'm going to tell you something. I'm not sitting down for multiple years for some shit that I didn't do, and I know who did it just because I don't want that nigga to be mad at me. Because that nigga gonna be living his life, and I'm gonna be in a behind bars for 15 years fighting for mine. Fuck him, nigga. You coming in?
So I'm gonna tell y'all a real story about something like that.
It's only for shit that I didn't do. Now, if I did it, that's another story.
My story got no names, but this is somebody that I actually know. I'll never forget this day because he hit me up. And I was like, bro, all I'm taking is one con law class in undergrad. I don't know anything to help you out. But you fuck. And so my homie hit me up one day, and he's like, yo, like, we're from a small town. He was somebody with a car that really appreciated gas money.
I thought you was from Miami.
Hey, nope. I'm from the St. Lucie County. And
that's just a freshman year joke, nigga. You good. That's a conversation to have.
So he hits me up and he's like, yo, I gave someone a ride like I've been doing. I've been giving, that's his thing. Since high school, he's been giving people a ride for gas money. Even when I said no, because I was like, bro, like you putting yourself in harm. You don't know what they got. But anyway, so one day I'm in college. He's there. He's agrees to give someone a ride. He gives this person a ride. Like, yo, I just need to pull up on my cousin real quick. He said, all right, whatever, bet. I'll get 35 to your tank. It wasn't even 20 miles, so it's fine. So they go to make the trip. Bro pulls out a bucked off shotty. For those that don't know what a bucked off shotty is, it's a shotgun that's been cut down so that way the barrel is shorter, and it allows you to transport it a little bit easier because it can be pushed down your pants. So
it sprays and it's wider than a normal one does.
Indeed. So he pulls up to his cousin's house. Apparently his cousin owed him some money. This is what my boy hears from his car. And unbeknownst to him, bro had a shotgun down his pant leg, shot him. Right on the doorstep, hopped back in the car, said, bro, I'll shoot you too if you don't go. Police are involved, all types of stuff. Police are like, bro, we know you did it. We seen your car. People gonna put down your plates. Is it snitching if dude agrees to be like, yeah, it wasn't me? Y'all know who did it.
I'm gonna say that. I'm not going down for murder. And I don't know jack shit of what's going on. A nigga decided to kill somebody while I'm driving. I don't know what happened. I just took him over there, and then he got in the car. He said he's gonna kill me, so I took him where he wanted to go.
Yeah, you deserve that.
If you're gonna threaten my life, fuck you. Go to prison. At the least, you deserve prison for threatening to kill me.
Yeah.
But I'm a country nigga. I don't buy by the street code. I ain't never been in the streets. I'm industry.
I think you got to like do some type of blood oath to be considered to be a part of the streets, because most of these cats, boy, they claim the streets left and right, and then be like, yeah, man, it be like that sometimes.
I don't think street niggas abide by that code though. It's kind of like guy code. It's all these codes we got out here that don't nobody really follow. Only some people follow it when it works for them. And then they want to judge niggas for not following this code that nobody really follows.
At the end of the day, like, it's all based on self-interest. Like, if you're looking at heavy time, if you looking to be put in any type of compromising situation, you're looking at any way possible to get yourself out of that compromising situation. And that's kind of the beginning and end of that, for real.
Right. Yeah. And I just don't believe people saying, oh no, I would never do this, I would never do that. Bro, don't say what you won't do if you haven't been put in that situation. Because if somebody's saying, hey, yeah, bro, you're not going to see the light of day ever again. But you can see it after this long but shorter period of time if you do this. To sit there and say, oh, I would never even consider it, I think that's just a lie. Even if you don't do it, you consider it. Because you think about everything else that goes along with your life. And it's like, damn, am I going to sacrifice all of this? What's most important to me?
Bro, I'm telling.
Bro.
If I didn't do it, I'm telling. Now, if I did some shit.
This is my crime, if you hit me up like, hey, bro, somebody beat on my sister, and I pull up with you, bro, I'm snitching. If this is me saying, bro, someone beat on my sister, ride with me, I hope you snitch on me.
I'm going to tell you, somebody beat your sister, I'm going to say, hey, bro, you need to call the police and handle that.
The real solution is, if you don't want to be in that situation, don't do no fuck shit. Like, it's really that simple. But if you want to involve yourself in that, bro, you get whatever comes with that.
And that's what I think. And bro, I get mad about criminals, liars. You know what I'm saying? People who are like, you have no honor. Nigga, you have no honor. You steal. How the fuck a thief gonna tell me I ain't got no honor because I told, but you stole from me.
Yeah,
I was gone for the weekend. You kicked in my door. You took my PlayStation, my MacBook. You took the cash you found in the house. You stole my shit. I ain't got no honor because I didn't come shoot you.
They took everything.
If you inconvenience my life, I'm telling. Like, bro, for what?
Hey, so a question I got for y'all, right? And I think it's very applicable to this group is, for one, where are you from? Where are niggas really from, right?
Oh Lord. And
why do people, Chris, who are from major cities?
I ain't never did this to nobody, bro.
No. I'm not saying you particularly. I'm saying like,
Grove.
But when you are a nigga who is trying to tell somebody where you're from and correlate that to a place, right? Why is it so wrong to say the major city? Full disclosure, I tell niggas I'm from Cartersville. I've probably told 10 people in my entire life that I'm from Atlanta, and that's because it was making the conversation very simple. I knew they knew nothing about the area, and I didn't want to continue talking to them, right? I don't rep Atlanta. I went to college in Atlanta. A lot of Atlanta culture has bled onto me because I lived 45 minutes from Atlanta, but I'm from Cartersville. Cartersville is not Atlanta. There's a difference, right? Why do niggas care so much about niggas being like, hey, I'm from this big city because I'm an hour away, and if I tell you this bumblefuck town where I'm from, it's gonna turn into a 3-minute conversation about nothing.
Survivor's guilt. Like, bro, you didn't live through what I lived through to survive here. And so, like, I made it to 18 in this place, this city, whatever. And I get that. I think as someone that isn't from the major city, but like live close enough, where I understand what it's like to not actually be from Miami, and I don't really want to be from Miami. You know, like, I'm a South Florida kid. I was born at Broward General, like from Miramar, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. But like, I consider myself an honorary East Sider, like from living on the East Side, and Chris has stamped that. I mean, like, I'm more on the East Side than most people that pretend to be there or are out there. Like, lived in Stone Mountain. Like, I shopped at the Food Depot. What the hell is a Food Depot, you ask? Exactly. That's the point. And I think that is the reality of being from Atlanta and being in the sticks and understanding that. But at the same time, I don't rep Miami because I know some folks went through some stuff I didn't have to go through to like say that I'm from there.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way to look at it. I think I try to, at least from the initial like response, I think people just try to build a relationship based on common experience. So if they find that we're from the same place and you legit from the same place, then we could perhaps like build on that. But if they find out that basically you false claiming, then it's kind of like, not only did we not have something common to talk about, but it's almost like another sense of like betrayal, in a sense, like you represent something that you've never been a part of. But in addition to that, I know we always speak about like being from like major cities as being, you know, you must be in the hood or in the spot, so some might be going down. But like, my cousins are from Atlanta, but they from Zone 2. You never hear anybody talk about Zone 2 because Zone 2 was Buckhead.
Yeah.
But they still from Atlanta, you know what I mean? So it's really, I think people
and I've been to these cousins' house, and that don't feel like no zone.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, people take pride in where they from because that represents like some form of their identity because of how they came up. But I mean, niggas be going hard on it. I mean, niggas take it like differently. But if you say you from Atlanta, and you from like, if you're not even from Metro, then we'll have like words, but it ain't nothing serious. I'm like, oh, where you really from, bro?
It really though. And if you can't name, and I do think that this is a part that people don't understand. Like, if you can't name the like local landmarks, you're not really from there. Like, for me to say that I'm from like I'm repping honorary East Side, I'm saying like, yo, I lived around the corner from Wade Walker, and like, if you ain't been to the East Side and ain't walked on the street, you ain't have no business going. Like, if you haven't gone to Stevenson, you don't even know what a Wade Walker is. Like if you don't know what Stevenson is, you can't have that conversation in Atlanta. And I feel like that tells you something about folks.
Yeah, it's just different levels of pride. I mean, like I take pride in being from Atlanta and being from the east side of Atlanta, but at the end of the day, like unless you got something negative to say about it, like you carry on with how you want to handle, like carry that. But at the end of the day, the truth gonna remain the truth. Like that don't change. So that is what that is. And
I always be a Cartersville nigga.
It's gonna get found out one way or another, especially if a nigga asks you a specific detail.
I mean, I remember Migos. Like I know Migos in a lot of different facets. I remember finding out that they were really from Gwinnett and being like, damn. And that's no disrespect to them.
Well, you know,
they made up the whole term to North.
I really commend them, bro. Like I really do, because I don't know how they did that, because you know Atlanta is very territorial about like what, because they get very specific about what zones or what neighborhood, what gas stations you buy, and all of that type stuff.
Jeezy did it.
Huh?
Jeezy did it. That nigga from Hawkinsville.
Bro, yeah. He's from Savannah.
I thought from Macon.
Where the fuck Hawkinsville is at?
Oh, it's right. It's Macon. That's right.
I thought from Macon.
Yeah, you're right.
But
I know Charlamagne had him on an interview and they was in Hawkinsville, I think. And I don't know what the fuck that shit is.
Well, I think he was born in South Carolina, then he moved.
He was born in Columbia.
Yeah, and then he but a lot of people be born places and then move somewhere else.
Yeah, like I was born. I wasn't born in fucking Cartersville, but Cartersville's home.
Yeah, so it's like wherever you matriculated. But I mean, I always commend Migos about that though, because they really just built it from the ground up and just called it the North. Like even though it's Gwinnett County, and anybody will tell you like that. That ain't Atlanta.
I worked in Gwinnett. Ain't nobody give me no props. They were like, bro, you ain't even in Atlanta no more.
Nah, bro, that like Gwinnett's Gwinnett, but give a fuck about Migos.
Yeah.
Let me see what we got here. I know y'all niggas want to talk sports, right?
Yeah, what's up? What you got?
Let me see what I got. Let me see. So let's get into the future of sports. We got all this COVID and shit going on. I don't really think everybody is looking at all the different things that are affected. Like, I think we're going to lose at least a year of recreational sports for a lot of people who don't come from privileged areas where they have like the ability to be trained. We may lose a year of high school sports. We may lose a year of insignificant college sports. And I mean insignificant in the sense that they don't make money or a lot of money, And I'm just curious, like, where are we going moving forward? It looks like basketball is going to pick up. It looks like baseball is going to pick up. The NFL ain't saying shit because we know the NFL is going to play. They just don't want to get criticized until it's time for them to play.
So by September, they'll be playing. It's my belief for the NFL. I think they'll be playing in empty stadiums. The Dolphins were one of the first teams to release a plan for what they plan on doing post-COVID. And so I think that we've got like a $50,000 or $60,000 max capacity in our stadium. Who knows what it's called this year? It's actually called Hard Rock Stadium now. And what they're going to set the limits at is about 15,000 fans. And so realistically, what that looks like is that people will be buzzed in at certain times. So the same way that like if you're picking up Uber Eats from your local restaurants or whatever, or like, you're purchasing separately and it's saying like you have an hour window or a 45-minute window to pick up whatever it is, it's going to be the same way for the games. Like you are in section 300, so you need to be here at 12:30 to 1, and like the earlier, maybe there'll be more perks or whatever. I think that that's a stupid decision. I don't think that they'll follow through with it realistically because it'll be more than 10 people in a section. And so I think that what will happen is the games will be played in pretty empty stadiums and they're going to cut a big loss on this one. That's my belief. NBA, I don't know what's going to happen. I do think that there's nobody promoting or that is a stronger supporter of starting the season earlier than LeBron James, though. I mean, like
LeBron wants to play, they'll play. If there's a way, they're playing.
LeBron would have played yesterday if it could have happened. He knows he's in his prime. It says now or never. AD might be gone next year. Like, we'll see what happens.
Let's be real. This Last Dance documentary is not helping LeBron's legacy at all. LeBron is sitting around trying to win what we thought he may have won his 4th ring this year, and now everybody's just fucking blowing off MJ. I mean, blowing off in a good way, not ignoring.
I agree. I mean, Jordan with The Last Dance has shown how much he is the GOAT, and I think that LeBron is sitting at home on Sundays watching that shit like, bro, just give me 3 more years, 4 more years. And, like, I don't think that basketball is a sport like football where, like, you can say, well, it's less tread on my tires. No, when you old, you old. You can't get up the same way you used to the older you get. It's not like, well, I took a season off and I can be Gucci or, like, you know, be comparable to where I was, like Le'Veon Bell.
I mean, I think the real answer is don't nobody know what they're doing. I mean, you can't really know what you're doing until you know what's actually going on. Like, what's the prognosis of this situation? You can be as hopeful as you want to be and optimistic about the tentative date for us to start. But nigga, if there's another outbreak, that shit shut the fuck down. And I ain't going to no damn. If they open up, I mean, I had tickets to the Hawks, bro. They still owe me money because of them last couple of games. So I ain't finna go to nobody's stadium or arena.
You ain't gonna go there with your mask on?
Hell no.
You gonna play that Future all day.
Look, I ain't gonna lie, I would not risk getting COVID to go watch the Hawks play.
No.
And I want them to be good.
Yeah, I want
one player that can score.
You won't catch me there.
Like, I've only gone to one NBA game this year, and it was actually a Hawks game. I went to Ice Tray against LeBron, and LeBron didn't put foots in them.
I went to the Celtics Heat, Celtics Sixers. Celtics Sixers was one of the biggest tickets this year.
Damn,
I Jason Tatum in person.
Yeah, and then that boy Jason Tatum was taking off.
Tatum. There's no hate that you'll hear from me about Tatum. Only thing I will say is that, like, I think that Brad Stevens is the problem with the Celtics. And I think that a lot of those players resent him for bringing in Gordon Hayward when he didn't need to. They were deep. They didn't need him. They needed more minutes. And instead they brought in a guy on a max contract who had only done some shit in a contract year, which is everything that they tell you not to believe in. And what did he do? I'm going to bring him in on a max contract. He gets hurt week 1. And people are like, yo. And then, I will admit this, and this is no disrespect to Bro, just in case he ever hears this. I'm not a Jaylen Brown fan. I think Jaylen Brown needs to be on another team. It's not that he can't ball. It's just that, like, we need to see that he's CJ McCollum at least, maybe light or better on another team. He does not need to be on that squad.
I think he's fine if you get rid of Hayward.
I think they just got too many. They got too many wings.
Mm-hmm. The whole team is wings.
Yeah, they got too many wings. Because go ahead, AC.
I was asking about the Jason Tatum piece because I finally got to see LeBron play in person this past year, and the great players are different in person.
I agree.
Like, no matter what the score is, when you're there, you can feel players controlling the game. Like, I remember I went to a Hawks Thunder game back when we were in college, and I watched, like, KD control the game. You could feel Russ's energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the fucking seat. So then, like, I'm watching LeBron play against the Hawks, and I'm like, this nigga is killing them. And he's like, he's better than everybody out here. And even like AD, it's like, damn, this nigga is a lot better at basketball than AD, even though there's no way to quantify how much better LeBron is. You just gotta watch it and feel it, and you go, wow, that nigga is fucking great. That's why I asked about Tatum, like, what's it like when you're there?
So what I will say for Tatum is one of those scorers, and I've watched a lot of basketball over the last few years live. Tatum is one of those scorers where definitively he fills up the cup and you don't even know it happened. You're like, when did this happen? And do you know who was a player that I actually felt like took over the momentum of the game? Embiid. When I watched that game, Sixers Celtics, Embiid is the type of guy. I mean, the dude must have had, I think he had like 20, 25 in the first half. And it was light. It was light. I saw Curry his rookie year felt the same way. Like, It's like, oh, all of a sudden you got a bunch of points, and I need to look up at the jumbotron to know that you got all those points. And there's not too many players in the league that can do that.
That's why they were going to him. Did y'all watch the All-Star game?
Yeah.
Like that's why out of all those great players, they were going to Embiid in those final minutes to get like guaranteed buckets.
He scores at will. That's the thing that people don't understand is that like Embiid is, and I think that a lot of people front and they can say whatever they want. Embiid is probably the best center in the league right now.
That's why Shaq and Chuck be going off on his ass because like they see it. They like, oh nah, bro, this nigga got the package.
Everything. He can shoot the ball from three. He can push her. I mean, I've seen Jokic play, and I will say that Jokic is the most fluid center I've ever seen in my whole life. I've seen Shaq play live. I've seen a lot of good guys play live. Jokic, he moves that. He's the offense. He is the offense. But he's not as dynamic.
I'll tell you something about Jokic, though. It's set up for him to be who he is.
Somewhat, yes. The system is built for him. And that's Mike Malone or whatever. But
so with the Jokic thing, it's fluid and it looks good, but that's because it's supposed to look that way. And if it doesn't look that way, it's going to look that way.
Yeah. It's a tough call. I mean, I think that like there's a lot of good centers in the league. I think the Jokic, just because like he's a walking triple-double any night. And I think that him and Embiid has got him beat just because of how dominant a force he is on offense.
And Embiid has the physical package that Jokic doesn't have.
So here's the thing that I think that people don't understand because Jokic is in a smaller market. Like Philly is definitely doing better. I think Jokic can move down the court. He can run point. He can do all those things. But I think that the post dominance that Embiid has can't be matched.
It's not. And the thing about Jokic is Jokic wants to pass. And I'm not saying he's passed first, but the pass is in the back of his mind where Embiid can pass when needed to. But Embiid trying to get that bucket.
Yep. If y'all ain't gonna do it, I'm gonna put the bucket in before the 24 is up.
So was that you or Chris who really wanted to talk about this Jordan doc?
I mean, I've been watching. I can't say that I've watched it every Sunday. I do think that the episodes with Dennis Rodman were the best. Like hands down, the best of that series so far.
I think the background information on Scottie was dope too, especially considering his lopsided contract. But suggesting like some of the background reasons for why he would have wanted that guaranteed money and ultimately got fucked in the long run. But yeah, Dennis Rodman was definitely the.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. That documentary is straight garbage. The way that it moves back and forth, the time, the asynchronous nature of it, trash.
It makes it hard to follow for some people.
Yep.
And my brain works a little bit closer to the way that documentary works. Like it's over. Like let's talk about this right now, and let's tie this to what's going on, even though it doesn't sync chronologically. Got it. It works for again my scatterbrain. I just think it's all just fucking Michael Jordan propaganda, and it's sick because all they're doing is blowing MJ off. And the thing about documentaries is so many people think that documentaries are journalism. They're not journalism. It's entertainment. It has a little bit more of a journalistic feel to it, but it's more one-sided than not. And I think they do a great job by bringing dissenting voices in to kind of say their piece, but the piece that they necessarily say may not always get the whole point across that we're looking for. So I think the information is valuable. I appreciate what we're getting from this MJ documentary, but the media response to it really sucks because the mainstream media is full of people who covered the Jordan era, who are in awe of the Jordan era, and they cannot objectively speak on that era.
I haven't heard anybody. I don't think that you can, unless you're unless you weren't a part of the era in any regard. But documentaries are going to every particular perspective. I mean, some try to be more balanced in terms of how the information is provided, but the Jordan, they've just been like aesthetically pleasing, like Dick Rodden, like the entire.
Yeah, we're gonna make everybody around Jordan look as bad as we can while we big them up.
Hey, what's the GM name? It was the GM.
Jerry Krause?
Bro, I'm talking about the first episode, boy. They fired that man.
They tried Krause so bad on there, I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
Yeah, but look at this. And I didn't plan on talking about this today because I'm doing a full Last Dance breakdown with Eric Boyd and Boykins next week when it's all over, right? But I think they built up Scotty just to make him look like shit for the rest of the fucking series. Scotty looks terrible.
That's very possible.
They did. They made him spaz out on Krause in like the second episode of the season. That's whack.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie to you. Scotty's just a nigga, bro. He don't give a fuck about the team. All he give a fuck about is himself and what is important to him. And I don't think that's bad.
I don't know if I feel that way though. I think that he wasn't there initially and he got pissed off and they showed him at the wrong point. Like, yo, of course it's easy to get jaded when you've been poor as fuck compared to everybody else relatively.
Right.
7 years or whatever it was, and you're like, I signed for a new deal. You know, like I think it's very, very easy as like a guy on the team. I've been the glue. I've made this team stick together. I've done everything I need to do as the Robin, and I still don't got a check. And he screwed himself. I won't say that.
Yeah, but I'm not mad at him because the difference between Scotty and a lot of different people are he was a late bloomer. Where people try to talk about MJ wasn't this heralded basketball player. Yes, he was. He went to UNC when they had Dean, and he was a McDonald's All-American. Yeah, okay, he got cut sophomore year. Junior year and senior year, he proved who he was. Yeah. Scotty hit the fucking growth spurt in college as a walk-on at a bum-ass school that I got to look up.
Central Arkansas.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, his approach is different because as a late bloomer, you don't know if you're going to be around forever because you're not, like, that guy in the sense in the basketball world where Michael was McDonald's All-American, number 3 pick, UNC, goddamn All-American, all this shit. It's like, okay, yeah. Even if I take this bad deal, I'm Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
I am Scotty, like, bro, I'm trying to provide for my family because I might not have another opportunity.
I mean, I think in the context, at least they provided the background because I think a lot of the things that Scotty did, though they might have not been perfectly timed, were justifiable based on what he had contributed to the team, his background being poor and being a late bloomer. Like, bro, he was like, bro, it's time to cash me out. And if y'all niggas won't cash me out, bro, then this is what you finna get.
Yeah, I'm not playing all season. Fuck y'all. I'm getting my surgery.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that everybody that's ever been underpaid at a job knows how Scottie Pippen felt.
Yeah, like I get it.
Like, bro,
I would say underappreciated.
Yeah, but that speaks to the different era. Like now, it's about player empowerment, where this is the norm now. But even back then, and even through the documentary, like they still shaming this nigga.
And Scotty did was, bro, it's the same shit Kyrie did. Kyrie said, Cleveland, if you don't trade me, I'm gonna have surgery right before the season.
Yeah, but it's a different era.
I'm gonna keep it a buck about Kyrie. I had never heard about a 19-year-old with arthritis in his knees. That thing to me seems the most unique I've ever heard out of any basketball player in my whole life.
Definitely a power play, bro. Like
but bro, you sat out in the finals for 2 games, and you sat out the Eastern Conference. Bro, I just like, I don't know if Kyrie's got an old man body, but that Uncle Drew shit is too real for its own good. Because I never heard about a night. Bro, you've been hurt every point. You played 2 games in your college career. You got hurt during the Olympics for punching some shit after Kobe whooped your ass in practice. And then all of a sudden you make it to the finals 2 years into your career. And now you got arthritis in the knees. Kyrie done had every problem that an old dude should have at this point.
But who has a better just tool bag than Kyrie?
Nobody. Kyrie's the perfect point guard. He can shoot that rock. He got carries out of this world. He's not Curry and with the shot, but he's got way better handles than Curry. No disrespect to him.
But it does show you the difference between, even with all those tools, the difference between being the number 1 player and being the number 2.
Oh, absolutely. I think that the thing that people never understood, and I've been watching Curry since he was at Davidson in college. I remember the first year he made it to the tournament, and then the last year, like that dude he's a game changer. Somebody with a shot and that inside scoring ability that he has is world class. And like Kyrie has all of that talent, but availability is the best ability in the words of Bill Parcells. And I think that that's the difference between him and any other player in the league. It's like Kyrie's a top 5 player when healthy, but that doesn't mean much.
I totally agree. And I look forward to seeing what he and KD can become next year, because all this Giannis praise that I've been seeing, like with ESPN's shitty list that they just put out of the top 100 players, I don't even want to speak on that. Kyrie and KD will arguably be two of the most skilled players on a team together. It's just unfortunate that Kyrie's skills come at 6'2", 6'3", and at the NBA, if you're not Isaiah Thomas or the Steph Curry, you don't win championships if the nigga's not 6'6" or higher putting the ball in the bucket. But we'll see what it does. The last topic I kind of want to get to, which I thought was funny, it came from light skinned Chris, who is doing whatever the hell he's doing right now, was Demon Time.
Yeah.
But you know, that's one of those that's I don't know what it is. You know, I'm old, I'm washed up, I'm out the game. And even though Josh, you married and shit, I still feel like I'm more removed from what's going on in the world than all y'all, because I live in my own little bubble. What the fuck is Demon Time?
Well, I can't give like like some real like Kim Burns timeline of this shit.
I give a fuck about Kim.
But what's the quote, bro?
I got you.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
All right. Yeah. So Demon Time, according to Urban Dictionary, is when you're going full fuckboy. You're on IG Live and you only want IG thoughts to shake ass and strip. So an example,
don't nigga who Urban talk like that, by the way, because Urban niggas don't say fuck boy. That's some white people shit.
It is. Any time of the night past 11 p.m., a time of pure fuckery, when the fuck boys come out to play, people's feelings are not taken into account, and the individual may start saying some out of pocket shit.
I mean, essentially, bro, they just be shaking their ass on Instagram Live after like midnight.
Basically, you going full Tory Lanez.
Yeah, man, look, I seen some of that shit like midday though.
But Tory Lanez he kind of took it to an art though.
Yeah, he did.
Because he's a really good host too. So not that I watched it, but
I've heard
it was.
Y'all watch Ludacris and motherfucking
Yeah, I watched
Nelly last night. No, I didn't catch that.
Hey, that boy Nelly was faded.
Boy, Nelly was looking bro. What are you doing? You look like bro. What's the white dude that went against? It wasn't Timberland.
You Scott
Storch?
Yeah.
And Fresh.
Yeah, that was a terrible battle. That's the worst out of all of them.
So I haven't watched many of them. I watched bits and pieces, but I watched that one. And if you look at the track list, you go, "Oh, this was close." But if you watch it, you go, "Ludacris watched that nigga. It wasn't even like close."
Well, this is what I think happened. I think Luda came in with a strategy, and I think Luda was hella sober. But Nelly, on the other hand, I think he was just playing records and he was faded. Like I don't even think.
Yeah,
I agree. I'm watching. I'm like, Nelly doesn't have a strategy.
Damn, I gotta get this.
And that's what Manny Fresh are too. Manny Fresh had a bunch of skits and interludes, but he didn't have he didn't have any actual song. And then he's playing unreleased Lil Wayne music, and I was like, that's cool, but that's not gonna do it today.
I mean, I think. Go ahead, AC.
I would just say Ludacris did a few funny things, right? His radio background definitely showed, like when the Wi-Fi was going in and out.
Yeah.
And even before, like setting up his song, speeding it up, getting Nelly to speed up, like, hey nigga, let's play this music. Like you could tell, okay, he knows how to speak quickly, get his point across in a structured format.
Yeah, Nelly. I mean, Luda didn't have no dead air. He was
I think Luda's single-handedly responsible for bringing, and this might be blasphemous to Chris, but for me, I think he brought Atlanta music commercial. You know, like he took mixtape rap that folks from other places hadn't heard, and like brought it to commercial airwaves, and then like took it past that. Where it was like we had I'd been to Atlanta a few times before that as a kid. I had never heard the music on the radio and the way that Ludacris had put his like what sounded like very local music onto the radio and commercialized it in a way that I had never seen.
I don't think Chris could argue that because you are an outsider, and at the age that you were and where we were at with technology, that if it affected you that way, it's closer to true than false.
Ludacris is my favorite rapper as a kid, and there's not too many people that will honestly say that. It was Mace and it was Luda, like right next to each other.
I mean, I don't disagree, and I can't disagree just because Atlanta radio, I mean, back then and even now, you know, I think I always thought that the records were being played everywhere, but they're hella local. But they ultimately gain so much traction locally that they go national, then international. So, I mean, I definitely get that about Ludacris and his, like, what he contributed from Atlanta culture into the mainstream.
Ludacris is a legend that doesn't get his flowers like he should. And I think yesterday was a great showcase of all the hits that Luda has that we know about and we forget about. And then it makes you think about, damn, he didn't play this. He didn't play that. And that's my shit.
I mean, he could have, because honestly, for people who are in the know, but I think the thing about Ludacris, I think because he had such big records, they put him into this box of being like this caricature. When he was a real artist, I mean, he could rap. He was on songs with obviously Nas and Jadakiss, and he could go.
He killed them niggas.
Right, he could do that. He could beef. I mean, you seen what he did to Tip on Stomp. Like he could do all
of that nigga.
Like really one of the more versatile guys to come out of Atlanta, and really just as an artist in hip hop.
Yeah, I hate the rap that Ludacris gets, and we got to talking in the group text last night, and one of my niggas was like, well, who could really actually compete with Ludacris's hits? And he was like, because he's like, you got to put like a Jay Wayne level type artist up there because you go, well, Ludacris does not have the mid-tier shit that's on level with theirs. He doesn't have the consistency in his average shit. But like, hit the best of his best. You talking 20 tracks? He can go 20 tracks with damn near everybody's favorite rapper. I don't think anybody can go 20 tracks with Wayne or I think they're
Word of Mouth, Chicken and Beer.
Yeah. I think the thing for Ludacris, why he's not viewed in that same light, and we can speak like Atlanta, or we can speak just hip hop in general, but he never had that same level of. I don't even think he actually did that many things on the mixtape circuit the same way Wayne, Jeezy.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, so and those were the rappers where, I mean, all of us when we were coming up really kind of embraced those artists as being like the main guys in the culture.
Ludacris figured it out early, so it got to the point to where I'm only rapping for a bag.
Yeah, and that's good because he set the precedent.
And then he went Hollywood, and like it's just so much about Ludacris and him not being a street nigga either, to where he gets discredited for what he did. But like, bro, stats speak for themselves. Like the nigga sold records.
I still like the performance in Crash.
Huh?
I still think he did his thing in Crash.
I didn't see that shit.
Maybe Crash?
Bro, I don't watch movies. I don't listen to music. I live in a weird fucking bubble that's a lot of sports, Bill Simmons, Colin Cowherd, Joe Budden. If they don't talk about it, it doesn't exist to me. But look, we're going on almost 2 hours. Getting ready to wrap this up, man. It was beautiful having you two guys on here, and I use the word beautiful because I don't describe many things as beautiful that I don't like, and beautiful is just one of my favorite words to describe things. But anyways, I'm happy to have y'all here, and I'm happy that I brought you all here because for one, it took too long to get y'all here, but more importantly, I want to bring y'all motherfuckers back, whether it's group setting, whether it's individually, whether it's, hey, I want your take on this. It goes back to what we talked about earlier, that whole collaborative piece. Like, I'm trying to be more collaborative and do things with people who actually fuck with it, and people I fuck with. It's like, why not be resourceful? And then also, I mean, it's just fun, like talking to y'all niggas, because I can't see y'all. I ain't seen y'all motherfuckers since September. Ain't gonna see y'all niggas again till either quarantine ends around the world or somebody gets married. Anybody in the shoot to get married, by the way?
No.
You got it, bro.
I ain't got shit. Don't put that on me. But shit, man, this was great, man. Thank y'all niggas. Love y'all niggas. Big baby out.
Hey, likewise. Take care.